guys, Lizardlea here for day 53 of 4 Heavenly Beasts. There is the progress from day 52. So it's coming along. I don't know how I managed it, but none of my nails are broken right now. Like, I wanted to paint my nails, but then I was like, no, I want to cross stitch. Like, my nails look really nice. This never happens. There's always like a couple that are broken, but they all look nice. And so I just jinxed it, so expect nails to break off throughout the video. Oh, I don't know what order I'm going to put my videos up in. I should have just put them up in order, in which case you saw 2 little cat cross stitches that I did. I haven't had the time to go and find the beads to finish them, so that'll happen eventually. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to talk about, so I'm gonna go cross stitch.
What do we need to discuss?
I don't know. What do we need to discuss? It's your job.
But no.
Yes, it is.
First of all, no.
Yes, it is.
Second of all, no.
Yes.
Okay, we currently have on the list.
I don't remember. Like, last time we just did random questions because you weren't feeling up to it.
You haven't talked about the 5th elephant.
Because I haven't read the 5th elephant. No, wait. I did read the 5th elephant.
Read the 5th elephant.
I haven't read Night Watch or whatever.
Yeah, the good one.
Oh, whatever. You're not watching the things that I want you to watch or reading the things I want you to read. Get over it.
I'm making progress.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not. You
got
have been on this Percy Jackson book for like 2 months. Don't
I've
even
gotten
try this
farther.
with me. No. So, I don't remember a dang thing about that book. Are you sure we didn't talk about it?
She goes to Uberwald. There's werewolves.
I feel like we talked about it.
I didn't log it if we did. Give a rough synopsis, and then we can talk about Fantastic Beasts.
It's interesting how he told himself to give a synopsis. I don't do synopses. You do.
Jesus.
I'm not. Okay, I literally just said I remember nothing about it.
Okay, so the synopsis.
And you want me to do a synopsis?
The synopsis is that. Let me see if I can remember this, because I haven't read the book in forever, and I didn't need to listen to this one with you. But
that's not my fault. You were the one who was always sleeping.
Yes. So basically, stuff happens, and the scone of.
Oh yeah, the bread thingy gets stolen or something.
It's basically a throne. It's dwarven battle bread, so it's technically edible, but mostly a weapon. Gets stolen, and so for various reasons this happens while Vimes is on his way to visit this Uberwaldian dwarven town.
In a different country.
Yeah, in a different country, hence Uberwald.
And he is the representative.
Yes, the representative, and he brings his cadre with him, and then for various reasons, Angela leaves, so Carrot follows, and that means that nobody's left in Ankh-Morpork to take over the watch, so it becomes Colin's job by seniority, and that goes atrociously.
Poorly. It goes very poorly.
Yes.
But Nobby rebels.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. I liked it. And
You know
everybody
what they
rebelled
say,
with him.
It won't get better if you pick it. It was a joke in that book.
Yeah, you pick it like you strike.
Yeah, as like picking out a scab.
I do that.
Yeah, but the doctors say it won't get better, and so it's a pun or a play on words, because pick it sounds like pick at it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel it did get better.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because what's-his-name stepped in and was just like, what? But no, every time... Not Nobby, the other one. Every time he went to the office, he was like, we're missing a single sugar cube. I was like, I hate this man.
Yes. He very clear. Well, they make a very big point that he really is not suited to leadership.
Yeah, I know. He's psychotic when it comes to leadership.
Yeah, he's a great
he
sergeant.
He fired like 3/4 of the people, and then the remaining 4th were like, screw you, we're leaving.
Yeah, he's great at being a sergeant, which is a nice middle manager position that he was born to, and not so great at leading the thing. And then the big mystery is like, well, what happened to the scone, and what happened to this, and what happened to that, and do you remember any of the answers?
I remember the final reveal, but I mean, we're only like 5 minutes into this, so we shouldn't do the ending.
Go into
but so...
Okay, go
Angela is left because her family is like royalty-esque in this country. And so she's like, I gotta go check in on them. And she meets up with a wolf. And wolves and werewolves don't get along. But this wolf likes her. And yeah. And then Carrot follows, and he brings along the talking dog. Because he's like, yes, Gaspode. He's like, you said you could track anybody, right? And Gaspode's like, yeah, of course, in his weird ways. And they follow and try to track her. And the scene I really liked was Carrot learns that of a place that's doing like dog fights, and he has Gaspode speak to one of the dogs in the fight. Is it a wolf? Is it actually a wolf?
He probably has some werewolf in his history. No, yeah, that one's a wolf, yeah.
That one was a wolf, yeah. So Gaspode is like, hey, so my master is gonna get you out of this, but you gotta let me beat you in this fight so that we can just walk out with you. Mm-hmm. And the wolf is like, huh. And then Carrot goes in and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna bet all this money on my dog, Gaspode. And everybody laughs and thinks it's hilarious because Gaspode is just this mangy little runty thing. And so he walks up and the wolf is all like, grr, arg, and Carrot just looks at him in the way that Carrot can do to be intimidating and terrifying. And Gaspode like pretends to bite the wolf and the wolf just falls over.
Barks, actually.
Oh, does he bark at him? That's what it was. Yeah, he just yips. Yeah. And then everybody's like, he's not dead. And Carrot walks up, lifts the wolf up and like throws him on his shoulder or whatever, and he's like, no, he's dead. Like, that's how powerful my dog is. Like, any gasping he's doing now is just, the death throes, because he's dead. His heart is stopped.
Yep.
It was so funny.
And they're all kind of like, maybe we shouldn't disagree with the guy.
Yeah, because he also he looked around and did the look to all of them, and they were all like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you can take the dead wolf, bye. So while that's happening, what's his name? His boss? Carrot's boss?
Vimes. The main
Vimes?
character.
Carrot's the main character, in my opinion.
I see.
Or at least the main protagonist. How's that? Vimes is traveling with his wife to this other country. They have a former member of the Assassination Guild? Current member? Current member.
Well, diplomat.
I don't think they know that he's in the Assassination Guild initially.
Vimes picks up on it pretty quickly.
But yes, Vimes figures it out, and he's just
orange.
like, whoa, man, what the heck?
He didn't have fruit senses.
I don't get it.
I'm making a reference to Spider-Man No Way Home, where he doesn't tingle for bread because Vimes threw fruit at him, and the guy just let it hit him, and from that, Vimes deduced that he was an assassin through a rather overly convoluted set of things. It was a good moment in the book, I thought.
Yeah, I must have zoned out because I don't remember that whatsoever. Like, I know Vimes figured it out, and I was like, oh, he's a member of the Assassination Guild. Cool. He'd better not kill Vimes' wife. I'll be pissed.
Sybil is great.
Yes, I love Sybil. She is really great. Like, especially, I really like when she gets to, like, flex her nobility, I guess. Because she's never, like, I almost said a bad word. She's never mean about it.
No, yeah.
Like, she's always, like, very dignified and kind. Or at least as kind as one can expect with someone of such standing and stature and whatnot.
Yeah, because she's, not really loved by the nobility because she, actually has hobbies and tries to do things.
And raises dragons and doesn't have hair.
Yeah, because she's a very practical and down-to-earth woman, but she also knows the nobility inside and out because she was raised in it, and,
So while Vimes can't navigate this place, she can.
Yeah, and it's really great whenever they find an excuse to do that, like, just for her, well, not an excuse, but just write in her doing just crazy nonsense.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. Like, the only thing that really annoyed me in this book was when they were like, yeah, you know, she writes letters every year to the people that she went to school with or whatever. And this woman, who you later learn is Anjua's mom, never responds.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? Like, why would you do that? Because I got to the point where my middle school and high school friends, if they message me and I respond and we go back and forth, and then I send them a really long note and they never respond until like 4 years later, where they're like, oh wow, hey, we haven't talked in a while, how are you? I've just given up on those people, because it's like, you're clearly going to ignore me for a while and forget about me, and I'm just not about that anymore. Like, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to tell you my life story of what you've missed for the past 3 years, because if you'd been talking to me, you'd be in the know. And I feel like her situation's even worse because this person never responds. But it does work out great. She gets to say her nice spiel later, where it's like, "You've never responded to me." It was so good.
Yeah, she just loses it, which is wonderful.
And loses it in a dignified way, where the werewolf mom is like left essentially with her tail between her legs.
Uh-huh. You liked the werewolf dad?
Did I? Like,
You said he was funny.
yeah, I mean, he is more used to being a dog or a wolf than he is a human, and his wife at one point is just like, okay, you can't eat with us. Go to the closet and eat later.
Get off the couch.
Yeah, like, so yeah, Vimes being a detective at heart, when he learns that the scone, whatever, has been taken, he goes to the place where it was held and tries to figure out what's happened. And he's like, oh, maybe it was this, blah, 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 blah. Like, he comes up with all these ideas. And he blames the watch a lot, because he's like, they're not competent. Like, this person could have come in here 3 times and you guys wouldn't even know. And then, is it the werewolves that catch wind of this?
Yeah, I think so.
The son, well, okay, so Anjua's brother, who is just despicable, is like, yeah, Vimes, we're gonna play a game where you have to run away from my friends and I, who are also werewolves, by the way, and you have to get to this castle before dawn. And if you do, you win. If you don't, we're gonna kill you.
And for the record, it's been very clear through like flashbacks / side flashes, I don't know, that he's done this with multiple other characters who you've only briefly met or never met, and it never ends well for them. It's literally how the book opens.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Angela later is like, yeah, no, my brother never plays fair. My dad played fair. If they got away, he left them be, but my brother won't.
Yeah.
Like, he'll go after them later.
Well, it's also that his brother, so like...
He also brings in all his buddies, and they gang up on people, and they just cheat.
Usually ahead, yeah.
Yeah, like, you're supposed to have like a 30-minute start or more, and the brother doesn't really do that. He does like 5 to 10 minutes. And when it's a human versus werewolves, humans don't run that fast. Yeah. Believe it or not. But that whole chase scene, that was woof.
Intense.
Because yes, it was. Vimes nearly got killed at numerous points.
I love the whole death being stuck there.
See, and I'm sick of death popping up in every book. He's not interesting in any of them to me.
Actually.
And he's not funny. So it's just... eh.
I've got nothing to add to that.
He comes across these 3, like, hags. Vimes does. And he's like, yeah, I don't really have any clothes. Could you help me out? And one of the sisters is like, yeah, we have an old pair of our dad's pants. We'll get them for you. And the youngest sister is like, I have an axe that you could use to defend yourself. And the other 2 sisters are like, excuse me? And she's like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. And let's see, they have an orchard or something, like they grow plants or something, and they ask Vimes, like, yeah, where you're from, do these grow? And he's like, yeah, no. And they're like, oh my gosh, we've always wanted to go there, and they don't have this plant? We want to go. And he's like...
It's a tree.
Oh, a tree.
That's why the axe is
like
the sister's
cherry blossoms or something.
It's like a cherry tree or something, and so the
Yeah.
other sister's like, wait, why do you have an axe? Because she hates these trees.
Yes. And so he's like, if you can give me these pants and the axe, I will make sure that you get to go to Ankh-Morpork. Like, I will make it happen. And I was very happy at the end of the book. He was like, oh, by the way, send a coach to this place here and pick up the 3 ladies and bring them back to Ankh-Morpork.
Mm-hmm.
I promised them. And I was like, thank you, Vimes. Like,
Yep.
I actually did have faith in Terry Pratchett, in his writing ability, that he wouldn't just write that and then forget about it.
Yeah, no.
So, but I was still on the lookout for it, because I was like, is Vimes going to remember? Is he going to do it? But so... he does get away from them. Well, he almost does. Carrot and Angela show up.
Mm-hmm.
And they all get into a big tuffle. Carrot gets the snot beat out of him.
Yup.
Like, it was brutal. And it was really surprising because Carrot has just been the freaking Terminator until now.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was kind of good.
Yeah.
It really shows how insanely different the
werewolves are from the dwarves?
Well, just in general, like, Carrot has been pretty much... Yeah, he fights an entire bar in his first book, and it's a draw.
Was it a draw?
I mean, he basically knocks everyone out, some people run away, and then he collapses unconscious as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, if he was the last one to pass out, I don't think it's a draw. I think he won.
Yeah. So, they go from that to, just destroying him, and it's very effective of like, oh wow, they're really not screwing around.
Yeah, it scared everybody, because they were like, Carrot's stronger than me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm screwed. And not gonna lie, it made me tear up a little. The dog. Gasboat gets involved. And is it the werewolf brother that he fights? And they both go
like
over
that.
the bridge?
Yeah.
And they land in this, like, essentially frozen river, or at least, nearly frozen river. And for a while, you're like, wow, like, they killed Gasboat. But at the end of the book, you learn, no, he did survive. And it was by the same thing he always does, where he looks as just miserable as possible, and people walk over, and he'll say things like, oh, this poor puppy. I should take care of this dog. He needs help. And the person rationalizes it because they're like, well, dogs can't talk. I'm clearly thinking these thoughts. And so, and it's worked throughout every time he's done it, where somebody has been like, okay, obviously my subconscious wants me to help this dog. I'm going to help this dog. So he gets picked up and taken away. Does he ever get mentioned in a book again?
Gasboat?
Yeah. Because not gonna lie, I'm okay if he's just gone and in a happy life forever from then on. Because he was annoying at times. But because of that heroic moment, I was like, aw.
I don't know if it'll be in this series, but I believe... Yeah.
He's mentioned later.
Well, like, there's other books that I will have you read at certain points. Like, you should maybe do The Truth at this point, possibly Thief of Time. I don't know.
Nor do I.
It's hard to say, but short version, yeah, I'm pretty sure he appears in something after this. I don't think he's in the very next book. Like, almost nobody's in the next book.
Well, that sounds terrible.
It's really good.
Yeah, I know you've said this, but, like, Nobby. I want more Nobby in my life. The ugly goblin.
Well, he's back in the one after that, so don't worry about it.
Fine.
So did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to discuss the spoiler ending, or...
I mean, in short, if you have not read Terry Pratchett, read Terry Pratchett. Okay, you can spoil.
So what?
Do you want to set up why it's a spoiler, maybe?
Well, it's what happened to the scone.
Yeah.
Like.
Because just to quickly set the scene a little, part of the reason Vimes gets involved is because they're like, oh, you're a cop from Ankh-Morpork, and we have a mystery because this has been stolen. And so he goes into the
vault where
the
it was
vault,
kept.
and like it's on. You take like a boat down on a waterfall, and like, or not a waterfall, but like a lock system, a key, like lock as in water lock, like the canal. Thank you, like a canal system, and go through all this stuff. What?
He thanked himself.
Yes. So, and so on and so forth, and then.
Yeah, and like weight is involved, so that they'll be able to tell if you weigh more or less going in versus going out.
Yeah, and so he was like, you know, they all thought it would be impossible for it to be stolen from there, and he kind of like looks at it, you know, and then when he's alone with his team, he's like, okay, I can think of at least 12 ways to like this could have happened, you know.
Yep. Does he find powder on the floor? I don't remember.
There's gravel and dust everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. So he's like, they could have just destroyed it, and it would just be here.
Mm-hmm. Which is what.
And he ends up. Somebody accuses him of being the one to steal it,
yes.
So he gets thrown in jail, and then the vampire gets him out, and then the werewolf challenges him.
Yes.
That was the timeline. Yeah. The vampire lady was interesting. At first, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like her. And then I was like, I think I like her. But I'm still not sure. She was weird.
That's sort of the point.
Yeah.
Well, like, did you see, she has a scene at the end, which maybe you didn't get the full impact of just because of different family growing up experience stuff, where she's like, you know, there's like a bunch of other vampires there, and she's like, you know, it's not about blood, it's about, like, control. Do you remember this at all?
No.
I'm 90% positive it was in that book because it couldn't be in any other one, but she has basically an AA meeting with other vampires because she, I believe, doesn't drink blood anymore or only drinks like animal blood.
That sounds right, yes.
Yeah. And so she's like at this AA meeting with other vampires explaining that no, it's not about blood, it's about control, and she's been kind of one of the... She's sort of the villain in the sense that she probably engineered everything that happened to weaken the werewolves and move their country forward. Because, like, again, Uberwald, however it's pronounced, Uberwald, something like that, is literally every Dracula, Transylvania stereotype you can think of. Because, of course, like, that's the whole point of the books, is, like, silly fantasy stereotypes, and so of course this one's, you know, vampires and werewolves and Igors. You met an Igor?
Yes, we met all the Igors.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I know.
I didn't mean literally all of them. I meant like there were at least 5 that we met, and they discussed other Igors.
There are going to be many more Igors.
One of them went back to Ankh-Morpork with them.
Because he needs a forensics.
He had like...
Or no.
Hands that were hands and eyeballs with ears. Like it was insane.
Yeah, they need a medical guy. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. But so anyways, yeah, she basically wants the country to modernize and not be so stuck in the past and tradition. And so she maybe kind of helped engineer this whole thing through very subtle means. And she's sort of at the end kind of telling other vampires, like, look, you think you crave blood, but let me tell you, this stuff, way better. And that's kind of... not exactly how it comes off, but it's what it's hinting. It was a really good scene. Anyways.
Sorry, I don't remember
okay.
it. Like,
I thought she was an interesting character, especially because she knows Veninari as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always like when people recognize him, because I'm just like, there is a puzzle. I don't even have all of the edge pieces yet. Yeah. So, I can't even begin to pretend to know what the big picture is.
So yeah, anyways, the big mystery twist is that the scone was destroyed, and that's not actually a big deal, because...
They remake it every 50 years anyways,
yeah,
because it just turns to powder.
Yeah, because, like, no matter how good dwarven baking is, it's ridiculous to expect this to have been made. And this is a consistent theme in Terry Pratchett's stuff, that, like, the myth is sometimes more important than the reality, even though it is a myth. Like... it still serves as a symbol. So, for example, I believe it was the last book where, or maybe the book before, where Vetinari is working at his desk next to the throne of Ankh-Morpork, because he can't sit on the throne because he's not a king, and it's the golden throne of Ankh-Morpork. And it's one of the books where it's all about Carrot becoming king and blah 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 blah. And he tells Carrot hey, take a look behind the throne, and he looks, and it's literally just gold tinfoil, not even real gold, but gold paper over completely rotted wood, because long ago all the gold in the throne was stolen, because of course it was, and people still think it's there, and it serves as a symbol. And so same idea with the scone, where it's yeah, there has to be a scone, we'll bake a new one, we'll bake it in Ankh-Morpork. Oh, that's right, because isn't this the one?
Yeah, it was the one made in Ankh-Morpork, because it was plaster or whatever, and he's wow, it's not even actually the bread.
Yeah.
We just used essentially cement to make it almost exactly like it.
Yes. And then on top of it, I think this is the one where they keep doing the air quotes gag of what's the largest dwarven city? And then they always start with, oh, isn't it that place? And then they go, no, it's Ankh-Morpork.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
And then everybody's but Ankh-Morpork isn't a dwarven city. And they're yes, but that's where all the dwarves are going to.
Yeah, there's more dwarves in Ankh-Morpork than any other place.
Else, yeah.
Or congregations. So yeah, and I thought that was also a really interesting point, just about cultures and societies and whatnot, and how that stuff works. And then that's why it's a big deal that they're using the scone from Ankh-Morpork, because the dwarves themselves are all they have a problem where they're super conservative by older standards, not current lunatic standards, but they obviously there's a whole thread about the various female dwarves throughout the thing, but also the idea that all these dwarves are going to Ankh-Morpork, and that's not the right thing for a dwarf to do, and blah 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 blah. And so this is their leader basically saying, well, one, that she's a woman and going to dress like it eventually, and two, that the scone should be made there because that's where the most dwarfs are. Clearly dwarves see something of value in it, and this is a symbolic gesture, and blah blah. I don't know. Political science student, I found all of this stuff really fascinating, because I think I actually really, really think Terry Pratchett is one of the best writers to summarize and, in an entertaining manner, introduce very realistic concepts for economics, sociological things, political science, all of it. He basically models real life off of real life things, or real life things, in ways that make a really good story, and also kind of help people who, many of the things I struggled to understand, or didn't quite click as well until I read a passage in his book. There's a very specific one in a book called Making Money, which you'll eventually read. But I was that's a really brilliant way to describe why and how currency works. What the point is behind currency, why currency matters. It's maybe 3 paragraphs long, and it's better than a majority of the classes I ever took on economics.
Wow.
Or, well, differently, but it's a wonderful summation of a core concept you need to understand.
That is sad, though. The reflection on the U.S. education system.
I mean, the economic classes weren't too bad, but they were definitely more focused on the math behind it, and supply and demand curves and whatnot, so it was sort of not getting to the heart of the... Since I'm nerding out already, I think economics is interesting because it is hard math, but it also bumps into psychological and social issues, which makes it hard for it to be hard math. It can't be 100% bulletproof. And so with that in mind, obviously the schooling, or since I didn't major in economics, I mostly just dealt with the math side of it. But this was a really good way to sort of explain the social contract of currency. So there's a phrase.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, you read a book.
Well, so we're near the end of the video, so I'm actually not going to spoil it. One of the things I did want to mention, though, that I am curious what other people's thoughts are. It's the thing of, you have a boat, and slowly, over the course of many, 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 many years, every single part gets replaced. The planks rot, you put in new ones. You get a new anchor because the old one was lost. You put up new flags because the old ones have holes in them. At what point do you consider that to be still your old boat, or do you consider it to be a new one because every single part has been replaced? Like, no part of it is the original other than just the structure, essentially. I'm pretty sure that that's what one of the things they brought up. Like, they also discussed it with somebody's axe or their weapon or something.
This is my family's axe. It's been passed down through generations. We replaced the half. It's the Ship of Theseus thing, which was also in WandaVision. So, yeah, the Vision talking.
Oh, I couldn't watch that scene when he was talking to himself in a circle.
Oh, because of the spinning.
It was
that was literally the exact same thing. It's all based off of Ship of Theseus argument from one of the Greek philosophers, I think. I don't know. But yeah, that he actually references Ship of Theseus, whereas of course since this is Terry Pratchett's Little World, they don't have that, but they do still bluntly reference it. Again, it's very clever writing on a lot of levels, and it's way easier to read than most things that have very clever writing on a lot of levels, I think.
Did we ever discuss how you didn't realize that death was death?
Yes, we discussed it, I believe, now every time we've talked about one of these books. Thank you for reminding everyone. The Meeplings live!
There were Meeplings earlier today. One of the boys made a really cute noise, and then he did this jiggle thingy with his head. He looked like a Pokemon, and he made noises. It was really cute.
It was kind of like a drinky bird.
Well, I mean, he went up and down. He didn't go down and... You guys will see the video. We'll eventually put it up. I know how important Meat Morph is to everyone's lives, except for mine now. I don't know if I've said it. My eye has officially stopped twitching, though, so it's nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, there's that. And we're at the end, so if you want to know who did it and whatnot, you'll just have to read the book. Or read the summary if you're lazy, it's whatever.
And that is the end of day 53 for 4 Heavenly Beasts. I got 4 hours and 5 minutes of footage. I have forgotten to put my thread back, so I'll do that in a minute. But there's how much I did. There's progress. That was... How dare you joke about that?
You're right, Meat Morph is not a joking matter.
I think by the time I post this, you guys will have already met Meat Morph, so you'll know what he's joking about.
He's defender of the household.
No.
Yes.
No, he's my tormentor.
He's here to protect us.
He's here to drive me insane.
No, he's protecting us. Him and his little Meat Morphians.
I haven't seen those babies since, so...
I don't know if quails stick around as well, they do stick around as a pod for some period of time. I know that lion quails is traditional, but I don't know if they, as they mature, dip off or... I don't know what the quail life cycle is.
Year and a half. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next video.